Good morning. Welcome back. This is Tom from Global Time Traveler. A little bit different today. You can't see my ugly mug. I had some surgery on my face, and I look worse right now than I normally do. I'm a bit like a panda, only not as pretty. But we'll be back to normal by next week. So for today, we are going to look at a couple of my watches from Second Hour. Second Hour is a small company, family owned by a husband and a wife, lovely couple, Peter and Akira Sargison, and they are based out of Melbourne in Australia. And they make a line of watches that are very high quality, and I think you'll be really pleased and impressed. There are many reviews out there on several of their watches, particularly the Gin Clear. Today we're going to take a look at my Mandala 3 right here, and we're going to take a look at the Saddleberg II. This is a field watch, this is an everyday watch, and we'll cover all of those details and then have a good close look. I've got some B-roll that'll show some close-ups and some macros. But first, before we get started, I'm going to take a look at my brand new Revolo Terra. That is from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. This is called the Terra. It is a bronze sports watch. The case has a high tin content so that it is quite resistant to scratches, to wear and tear, and water resistance. This overall has an ST17 Chinese automatic movement inside with a small seconds. And it's my first bronze watch. I'm pretty happy with this one. It was about $400. It is a Fume molten copper dial is what they call it. And I think it's beautiful. It's got good lume on the hands, and the Arabic indices of the hour markers are all blocks of lume. So at night they show up pretty well. It's a Japanese super lume, so not Swiss super luminova, but I find the performance to be really good. Looking on the back, it's got a solid case back with some information engraved around the periphery. It comes on an FKM rubber strap. The onion crown has a nice inset there to set it off. As you can see, it's quite angular on the case, but I think it makes for a really nice presentation. All right, so let's get into Second Hour. As you saw the title, I called it The Thunder from Down Under. We started off talking about how Peter and Akira set up this company. What they focus on are unique designs. They want to have quality product and offer great customer service. My experience working directly with Peter has been outstanding. He personifies all of the aspects of communicating and interacting with independent companies, independent brands that I find really satisfying. On the slide, you'll see all of their different contact information, a couple of photos of them, which is nice, particularly the wedding photo. I think that's a really nice personal touch. What I really like in terms of interacting with Peter is that when I send him an email, within a day or so, I get a message back that answers my question directly, clearly, with no marketing nonsense or any of that sort of stuff. Great guy to work with, great company to work with, and really nice products. All right, so taking a look at their product line, they have 4 different classes. They have dive watches, they have sports watches, they have a dress watch, and of course their field watches. And they have a new model coming out called the Fusion. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment. I'm really excited about the Fusion, and I hope that you will be too. In their dive watches, they've got the Gin Clear, they've got the Gin Clear Mark II, they've got a Gin Clear with a ripple. The Giant Stride right now has been sold out. I believe they're going to come out with a Giant Stride Mark II, and I'm excited about that. The Mandala Mark III, as we see here, is the sports watch. And then the Saddleberg II is their field watch, if you will. So let's talk a little bit about the Fusion real quick. You can see the slide that has the information there. Great news is overnight I got an email back from Peter that confirms some of the details for me. You'll see on the slide there I speculated a little bit, and my speculation is pretty close to what the actual specifications are. It's very true to the sports watch concept, with a couple of aspects and characteristics that I think set it apart from some of the others. What you'll see there is it's got a very slim polished bezel on it. It highlights that nice broad dial. I don't know what the colorways are at this point. The one photo that I received from Peter shows it in white. It looks beautiful. It is a flawless dial. What you'll see is there are red accents at the 12, 8, and 4 o'clock positions on the indices, and that kind of sets up that signature second hour characteristics of highlighting those 3 points on the dial. There's also a red accent around the circular date window at 6 o'clock, as well as on the end of the second hand. Some specifics on this: it's a 40 millimeter watch. It is less than 11 millimeters thick. It is a Miyota 9015. The case itself is 316L stainless steel, and it has been given a 1200 Vickers surface hardening treatment. Now that Miyota movement, they're regulating to 5 seconds per day accuracy. There will be a push-button micro-adjustment clasp on the back of the 7-link bracelet with screwed-in pin sizing. It'll be a 20 millimeter lug opening with quick release spring bars, so you can change it out for a leather strap or a rubber strap. 100 meters water resistance, screw down signed crown. It'll have a little accent coloring along the outside. Custom made diamond cut hands and custom made contoured case. I think as I look at that case, it's thin, it's elegant. I think it makes for a very nice look on the wrist. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. All right, we're going to take a look at the Mandala Mark III. I'm going to put the slide up that has all of the information on it for you right now. A couple of quick highlights on that. The guilloche dial, available in 6 different colors. It's absolutely beautiful. Great conversation starter. The forked beveled hands with loom. It's a signature item for this particular model. As we said, this one is a 40 millimeter, 10.5 millimeters thick. Again, a hardened case on this watch that aids in scratch resistant and keeping this looking as good as it can be for as long as possible. Now, looking at the watch itself, let's take a peek. First thing off is let's look at that beautiful dial. This one in here is in a very light blue. It comes in, like I said, a bunch of different colors. A really neat one is what they call bumblebee yellow. It's a yellow dial with a black chapter ring around the outside. And if you like bright colors, that's a really nice one to take a look at. Got a lot of loom on the indices on this. Again, the larger ones at the 8, 4, and 12, or the 8, 4, and 12 position in that signature second hour design. This also has the 7-link bracelet on it. On the case itself, you'll see both polished and brushed elements in there. Nice fine brushing along the sides of the case. It's nice and thin, not a big thick sidewall look to it. Chamfered edges have been polished on both top and bottom. And similar treatment for the crown guards. Now the bezel itself, very small, thin, highly polished, blends nicely into that domed crystal. It is a flat domed crystal, so it aids in legibility. Very nice. All right, it is now Tuesday. I'm having to re-record this from yesterday. The first one, once again, I had the focus completely out of whack, so we'll do this one again. Anyway, here we're looking at the second hour Saddleberg Mark II. So it's a field watch. This particular one is in a beautiful sunburst finish. Look at that, there are 3 colorways available. And I've got mine on a beautiful second hour supplied leather strap. As you can see, the dial is stepped. The center portion is that beautiful sunburst. More of a matte portion towards the outside, the outer ring, where the indices are. And then a chapter ring along the outside for the minute markers. It's a standard 3-hand display, and I love the way the light reflects off of that dial. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so the hands are beveled. The indices are cut from blocks of superluminova, so great performance in the dark. And as you'll see, the indices at 12, 4, and 8 are slightly differentiated from the remainder, primarily as part of that signature second hour design characteristic. Now this watch is 40 millimeters in diameter, 10.5 millimeters thick, 47 millimeters lug to lug. I find this to be the perfect everyday size for me. I love this watch. My Mandala 3 is beautiful. I like that for semi-formal and more formal type of engagements. But this one, for every single day and for work, is absolutely spectacular. I really like it. It is a hardened case, up to 1200 Vickers. So it'll keep it looking pristine for as long as you possibly can, resistant to scratches and dings. Obviously, it will be able to get scratched if you hit it really hard. But generally speaking, with that hardness coating, it holds its look. Looking at the case itself, beautiful mix of polished and brushed elements. Love the way that thin case blends seamlessly into those lugs. Looking at the crown side, this particular one does not have crown guards, but that's okay. Does have that solid case back. And if you read their story, this watch is commemorative of a battle that the Australian forces fought in the Pacific in the Second World War. Now this has a Miyota 9015 automatic movement inside. Again, that same reliable, accurate workhorse. And on the time grapher, this is somewhere about 4 to 6 seconds a day. It's water resistant down to 100 meters. But as I've said before, I don't really take my watches into the water. I take them off and put them down, but that's up to you. If you wanted to go into the pool or splashing around along the coast, perfect. I use this watch frequently when I fly and found that the electromagnetic resistance is solid. I don't have a rating for it or anything, but I haven't seen any degradation in performance. The shock resistance has been good. Very pleased with this overall. All right, that does it for this one. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Hopefully this one is a little bit shorter than some of the other ones that we've done. Big thanks to Peter and Akira for letting me purchase these watches. I really love them, and I'm looking forward to more products from Second Hour. Another set of big thanks to 3 of the big names in the watch content creators industry. So Shane from Relative Time, Chris from Watch Chris, and of course, my old friend Jody from Erebus. They left some really nice comments on my last vid, and I appreciate that. I find it inspiring. It helps me to keep trying to get better and better at this. I got a long ways to go, but we'll keep working it. All right. In upcoming videos, we've got Bowcroft watches from Cambridge. I'm going to do a set on Flieger watches. I'm waiting for a couple more items to come in now. I've ordered, but they're not here yet. And then we'll take a look at some divers at some point as well. But for now, again, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And take care. Be happy, be well. Catch you again next time. Cheers.